Whoa, now what's going on with it? You understand me? I'm in Utah right now, and it's 11:23 p.m. And man, if I don't go live now, I'm not gonna never do this video. The title of this live is creating a defense, and the reason why I came up with this title is because this summer I'm gonna have my two daughters this summer, Anaya and Sarai. And this summer is going to be the very, very, very first time that I actually start to talk to my daughters for real about how life really goes. And the reason why I wanted to do this is because I want my kids to come to their own rescue before adversity really starts to show themselves or really start to manifest in my children's life. I have an 11-year-old girl, I got a 7-year-old girl, and I got a baby boy that's on the way in the end of this year. And the whole purpose of creating a defense is for me as their father to be more proactive instead of reactive to situations that may occur in their life that I have also experienced, whether I failed at that particular adversity or I rise to the occasion. And I had 3 topics that I definitely wanted to talk about today. And the first one was the black woman is God, son, how to control your dick, and you must understand and have boundaries for yourself, not necessarily for the other people. And I just want to say this before I even start this. This is going to be very uncomfortable. It's going to be very unapologetic. And this is my very, very first time I am literally going to talk about some uncomfortable events that I've experienced through my life. So if you don't want to hear some tragic shit, you might want to get off of this, because these are some of the things that I'm going to talk to my children about. Sorry, I'm just stuttering because I'm a little nervous to talk about these things because they are embarrassing a little bit to me. I'm going to talk about these things because, I hid them away from my ex-wife for years. You know, it's the reason why we divorced. We divorced. And sometimes when a man loves a woman, especially when you're young, you'll marry a person and you'll still keep them at arm's length because you've been hurt before, or you've been cast out before, or you've been demonized before. So you will marry a person, but you still wouldn't let them in here. You know what I'm saying? To my ex-wife, I loved her, but I wasn't in love with her. You know, I married her because I thought that's what I was supposed to do growing up as a Christian in the black church. You know, my mother and father didn't necessarily agree with divorce. You know, and it was like, this is the woman you're going to be with, spend the rest of spending your time with, and you know, you should marry her. You know, and I didn't want to make people mad in the church, so that's what I did. Anyway, a little nervous, so here we go. To my unborn son, it's my job to give you the game of life, because this is a cruel world. You understand me? It's a guy on YouTube named Zoe Williams, and he always say life is a game of real consequences, and I believe that. And as your father, I want to come to you from a place of being more proactive instead of reactive. Too many times in life, men don't get the opportunity to be reactive once they fall victim to their own ignorance. You understand me? So it's my job, before you are even born, to be more proactive as your father. Because in this life, we all come to this one question, men and women. Why is life so hard? One of the reasons why life is so hard for men is because we do not do what we say we're going to do. And that's one of the reasons why we fail at. So when it comes to creating a defense, I want my children to have an outline on how they can come to their own rescue. That was the purpose of me writing the book, Fixing the Next Man's Crown Without Telling the World It Was Crooked. I want to be more proactive in fixing my children's crown without telling the world it was crooked. Because that's what I had to do for myself. And I had help with that from my fiance, Brandy. Before I met Brandy, I was miserable. I hated my life. She's the reason why I wanted to really show myself that I'm more than a jukebox. I'm more than making people laugh. I'm more than being a safe place where other people can come for amusement. I got tired of being everybody else amusement park for comedy and making everybody laugh, right? So when it comes to one of the ways I want my son to come to his own rescue or have a defense is understanding that the black woman is God. Why I say that? Because the black woman gave you life. I'm not going to go into the black woman civilized the nation, or we come from a black woman, but in my household, my son is going to come through the womb of a black woman. So in that narrative, when he first comes through his mother's uterus, you understand me? The first eyes he's going to see is not necessarily me or the doctor, is going to be his mother. So you owe her a level of commitment before all others, before me as your father, before your sisters. You owe it to your mother, Brandy, to show her a level of commitment. Because right now, this woman is eating naturally, taking her vitamins, doing everything possible, working out, doing yoga, doing everything possible to make sure the birth is successful. You understand? So to where you can come to your own rescue and at least make it here. You know what I'm saying? To where she can actually see your face. So once you get here, son, it is your job to always respect this woman, because this woman is God. This is the same woman that helped your father come to his own rescue. This is the first woman to call me king. I'll never forget the first time your mother, Brandy, before we even started dating, we was on the phone. And I was in Georgia. I know exactly where I was. I was driving and I was talking to her on the phone. And she called me king. I can't remember the conversation, but she called me king. And she was basically saying, you're too intelligent. I see your potential to act so crazy, right? And a seed started to germinate inside of my womb. I don't have no fucking womb, just saying. I'm nervous. A seed started to germinate within my stomach. For the first time in my life, I started to feel bad about the things that I was saying on YouTube, because I was very disrespectful to women. I was very disrespectful. And accountability started to grow within me. And once I started to identify my own fuckery, I had a responsibility to myself and to the person that I wanted to be better. So I had to start reading. I had to start doing my own research. And after doing my own research, I realized that I can change. I realized that a man can change and a man can be better. So that's why I say the black woman is God, because the black woman was the first woman to show me that I am more than my circumstances, that I'm more than where I come from. I am more than the life I live every day. You understand me? Before I met your mother, I ran from adversity. When I say I ran from adversity, I ran from myself. I couldn't even have I couldn't even have a polite and well-mannered conversation with myself, because I was operating from my lower self. I was operating from a flight mentality instead of a fight mentality, meaning I always wanted to fit in. I always used to channel my energy and channel my behavior depending on the atmosphere I was around. If I was at my grandmother's house, around my uncles, I was somebody else. If I was at my mother's house with my other siblings, I was somebody else. If I was in the street, I was somebody else. If I was in high school, I was somebody else. And I exhausted myself. And it leads me to my second point. You must have and understand your own boundaries. And this is to all three of my children, Anaya, Sarai, and Tremaine. Boundaries allow you to control your emotions. What do I mean by that? I'm sweating because I'm nervous. I'm about to get to this embarrassing shit. Boundaries is a defense, just like money. Money handles all things. If it's a thing, money is a defense. Money can help you get or do whatever it is you need to do if it's a thing. When it comes to boundaries, the definition of defense is the action of defending or resisting attack. And the problem with a lot of men, and this is what we fail at when it comes to accountability, we don't stand up to our weaker self. We don't hold ourselves accountable to our own fuckery. And what's worse than laying up under a woman who don't give a fuck about you, or having a homeboy who don't hold himself accountable for his own fuckery, is you not being able to stand up to your weaker self. And that's where most men fail, is right here. You have to stand up to the thoughts you think, because if you think wrong, you go wrong. You manifest what you think about. And the problem is, when you're growing up in the hood or you're growing up in the ghetto, nobody tells you or shows you or demonstrates to you that you can control the thoughts you think. You have an opportunity to look at a situation and take the good from it or take the bad from it. Like the Booty Warriors say on the Boondocks, man, the choice is yours. You understand me? So we have to fight our weaker self when it comes to those thoughts of you should cheat on your wife. When it comes to those thoughts of, you should have sex with her sister. When it comes to those thoughts, you should, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, your cousin calling you to go to help him steal the rims off of somebody's car. And then the first time you do it, that turns into a behavior of driving through the streets of New Orleans, stealing rims and tires off of people's cars and sitting their cars on fucking bricks. That's what your father did between the ages of 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 years old. I did that while I was married to my ex-wife. My cousin used to call me all the time to help him steal rims and steal tires off of people's cars. He's in jail right now. I would never say his name. At the end of the day, I didn't stand up to my weaker self. I wanted to say no. So many times I get up in the middle of the night. My wife wanted to know where I was going at the time. She thought I was in the street sleeping with women. I was in the street helping my cousin steal rims off of cars. All because I wanted to impress him. All because the child inside of me still wanted to impress my older cousin that helped raise me. Let me tell you something. You have to stand up to your weaker self. You have to, because if you don't, you will disappoint the person you are going to be 5, 10, or 15 years from now. That person you're going to be 15 years from now, that's the person you are going to disappoint. You're going to disappoint yourself. Not me, not Brandy, but yourself, if you don't stand up to yourself. That leads me to my next point. Son, this is to my son. You have to control your dick. You have to. A man that can control his dick can control the world. Your mother said that, Brandy. A man that can control his dick can control the world. You have to control what you dwell on. You can't necessarily control your thoughts, we all think crazy shit. We all think about all kind of things, but you can't control what you dwell on, because you become what you dwell on. This leads me to an experience that I had today. I was at Subway, and they had this lady at Subway. This is her second day on the job at Subway, and she couldn't make my salad right, and then the lady started crying. This happened 2 hours ago. The lady started crying, and I just looked at her. I was like, "Are you okay?" And so she went in the back, and so I was like, "Can I talk to her?" Something just wanted me to talk to her. So this is a white lady, don't know her from a can of paint. We went on side of the building at the Flying J truck stop right outside, and so I was just like, I don't know what's going on, you know what I'm saying? But maybe you should just take it slow, you know what I'm saying? Because I've never had nobody break down like that. So she was just telling me that her daughter ran across an old porn video when she was in the porn industry 7 years ago. Her daughter is now, I think, 13, and her daughter found out that her mother was in porn. And I was like, wow. So she was embarrassed, and she came to work today to try to escape that reality. Being at Subway, it's almost like trying to live in a comfortable illusion and trying to escape that uncomfortable reality at your house when your daughter ran across a porn video of you online. When I was 18 years old, I was going to do porn. My uncle in Algiers almost talked me into doing porn. When I was 17 years old, this is during Hurricane Katrina, I ended up sleeping with a married woman in my dad's hometown in Fairview, Louisiana. Her husband caught us in the act, and I ran through the forest. This whole story is in my book, amongst other stories. I ran through the forest barefooted, and the man came to the house. Once I reached the house, he had a gun in his hand. He wanted to kill me, but my dad helped de-escalate that situation. He gave me a bus ticket back to New Orleans because my life was at risk. When I got to New Orleans, I started to live with my uncle. And my uncle was like, "Shit, you got it like that at 17 years old. Maybe you should do porn." And I thought about it. I loved sex. Sex was like, I couldn't stop it. I had to have sex. I had to, because when I was 15 years old, and I told my mother this recently, because it's in the book. When I was 15 years old, they had a lady at the church that broke my virginity. She sung in the choir stand at Macedonia Baptist Church in Marrero on Corn Street. And I'll never say her name. I probably will tell my mother later, because she know this lady. So this lady would pick me up every Sunday at Taco Bell that I worked at in Gretna off of Bell Chase Highway. I worked at Taco Bell, and I really worked the evening and I worked the night shift. This woman would pick me up every Sunday, and we would have sex in her husband's church. I mean, her husband's truck. Her husband had a black Excursion, and I had a bike. Sometime I would ride my bike from Marrero to Gretna. You understand me? I ride the whole Lapelco, you know what I'm saying, to get to Taco Bell off of Lapelco and Bell Chase Highway. So if you ride the whole Lapelco from Marrero, I can get to my job. And so I would take my bike, throw it in the back of the truck. This lady will pick me up, and we'll go have sex on a dark street in Marrero. I did this for an entire year, and that it turned me into a sex addict. Because being 15 years old, this lady was 28 at the time. Being 15 and having this grown woman caress me the way she did, I had a sexual appetite that no girl at West Jefferson High School could handle me. So I was like, I was addicted to older women. I was addicted to like their countenance, the way that they cradled my ego. No girl could cradle my ego like an older woman. So when my uncle told me, he was like, "Man, you should do porn," I thought about it. I was like, fuck it, I don't got no job. I don't want to go back to Taco Bell, so I might as well do porn. It's a company in Harahan, Louisiana, Harahan, in the warehouse district that help people get into the porn industry. So when I was 18, my uncle actually took me over there to get in the porn industry. At that time, they was just paying $200 a scene. So I was in good shape at the time, you know. And the guy was like, "You want to do a scene?" He was like, "Okay." So I went to go to the clinic to get a test to make sure I have no STDs. So when I was waiting on my results to come back, I also was filling out other job applications. The only reason why I did not do porn was because Bollinger Shipyard called me. Bollinger Shipyard at the time was paying, I think, $10 to $12 an hour, but it was like you was guaranteed like 60 hours a week. So I was like, man, that's way more than $200 a scene. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm not promised a lot of scenes. So Bollinger Shipyard ended up calling me the same day I got my results back. So I told the guy, I was like, nah, man, I ain't gonna do it. You know, because I was very critical of doing it because my entire family watched porn. You know, and I was like, I didn't want my family seeing me dog walk a female on camera. So that's why I didn't do the porn. So at 18, I went to the shipyard, you know, and I thank God to this day, I'm about to be 35, May the 20th of this month. And I thank God that I didn't go through that, because my daughter's 11. What if my daughter would have been on the internet, ran across her father naked having sex? That probably would have traumatized my daughter, just like it traumatized that lady out there with her 13-year-old daughter. You understand me? So these are just different ways, different things that I want my kids to do to come to their own rescue or have a defense for themselves. Because going through this life, nobody taught me how to have a defense for my own life. You know what I'm saying? And I've made terrible decisions based off of my own fuckery when it comes to me not having accountability for my life. But anyway, that's pretty much it. But if you want to know more about these stories, I wrote about them and a whole bunch of others. It's on my website, thekingstrategy.com. The name of my book is called Fixing the Next Man's Crown Without Telling the World It Was Crooked. And I just want to say thank y'all for y'all support. Pre-orders is still available. Like I say, the book is done. The book is done. I'm just waiting on my editor. I'm waiting on my editor to get back with me. It's been a week now. I'm still waiting on her to get back to me because I want to have this book out and these orders shipped out before May the 20th. So if you want to get your book, you want to pre-order your book, I promise you, you will love my package, the way I'm putting together everything. I was sending emails out this weekend or possibly Monday about the updates that's going on with the book that's coming out. It's 8 chapters, and I'm telling you, y'all will enjoy this book. I talk a lot about my life, my upbringing, and a lot of embarrassing moments, and a lot of situations where I failed at, you know, and in situations where I came to my own rescue, you know. So at the end of the day, I just want more men to have more accountability, and I want men to start telling their story to their kids. Stop hiding who you really are, because in that pain, in that embarrassment is growth and understanding for your children. Because sometimes that uncomfortable conversation will be that conversation that helps your kids step out of those illusions that they see you in. Let your kids know you're human. Let your kids know you made a mistake. Tell your kids, you know, I fucked up. Be honest with them, because this summer I'm gonna be honest with my kids, because they think, you know, I'm super nice dad. They think dad is good. Dad make all the right decisions. Dad fucked up. You know, so I'm gonna keep it 100 with my kids this weekend. So I hope y'all fathers out there keeping it 100 with your children. You know, I'm a little nervous about it, but I'm gonna do it as soon as school over. I'm gonna drive down outside of LA, pick them up, and talk to them for real and give them the game. 1.